My name is John Frame, and I am the production designer for the current production of Faust at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. I shifted away from being a static sculptor probably about 12 years ago and became an animator. Everything I built after that time had to be able to be fully articulated. The role of eyes in my work has been really crucial. The importance of them is to give the characters a really lively ability to express a broad range of human emotions. And of course, I've tried to carry that same feeling into the production of Faust. One of the pieces that I produced with the eyes when they started coming back 10 years ago was a small coat. The original for this is perhaps 10 inches in height, and I think it has 120 eyes. I knew that I was going to animate the eyes on the coat, so each one had to be sewn in such a way that it could be blinked. They're between 4 millimeters and 7 millimeters in size. And it is shockingly heavy. It really weighs quite a lot. I love the way they fabricated it because they reflected an interior fabric that I had actually picked up. It was an old dishcloth in my kitchen. It's a fair reproduction of what I built. I never had what I would call a truly overarching vision for the production. I produced objects and characters that felt that they had a kind of sympathy for what I saw and what I found in the libretto and in the music. Actually, we're not sure that a character will in fact wear this. It was originally designed to be worn by Faust at the very end of the production, but we're still wondering if it's going to be worn at any particular point. I bet that weighs 30 pounds. This is the coat that Faust is wearing in his studio at the opening, at the top of Act 1. This character would he doodles on everything in the entire studio. So there are his drawings on the walls, they're on the easels, and it makes sense to put it also on the coat. I have to say I've never drawn in this scale. It's not meant to be read literally by the audience, it's just meant to be kind of an addition to this atmosphere of this is a person who draws and sketches all the time. He's an artist in his studio and he's compulsive about drawing. I don't know what the fabric is. It feels like a duck-type canvas to me. I'm really not sure. That's Vita's province.
You know, what opera singers need to do, keep singing and following the orchestra and wearing these insane costumes on them, it's unbelievable. They are just like the athletes of the art world. So my name is Vita Tzykun, and I'm a scenic and costume designer for Faust. So here what we're going to see is the devil's costumes, and it's the assistants of Mephistopheles, and they're all based on John Frame's sculptures. We recreated these amazing masks. You can see them right here, larger than a human head. So I had to engineer how something that is, again, a miniature sculpture can be translated into a human scale. Here you can see that the eyes of the performer are actually in the mesh. He has a glass eye, and then the second one has a very different mask that is much more human scale, but still we had to create as much breathability and visibility as possible. So you can see from up close, there is mesh right there, there is mesh right here. His costume involves wooden armor. Again, I approached it as armor design, created armored pieces that are all textured to look like wood. So when the performers appear on stage, they actually look like wooden sculptures that came to life. And this particular character has this crazy costume right here. And there, you can see parts of his arms and legs are fused to the costume, and the other pieces that I showed you are separate. Oh, and he has a belly. He has a padded belly, this devil. You can see it's kind of a really cute, tufted, I love this detail. You know, this was created as a special lightweight material. So they appear huge, but they're actually very, very lightweight. It's lightweight plastic. So these photos right here are from the first fittings. So you can see that the costumes are not finished yet. For example, here, it's just a net, so there is no furry color yet. And this neck piece is white, it hasn't been painted yet. There is no looking glass in this frame yet. So this is just the very first fitting photos, but that allows the dressers to know what the devils should generally look like. What the devils do on stage is so physical and so intense that actually it has to keep getting tweaked up until the very last moment of today, actually, just to make sure that it's comfortable enough for them to wear to do their complicated staging and choreography. They are very earthy, which is why Marguerite is in white, so that she can stand. So Marguerite has 3 looks. She has a huge journey throughout the production. She starts as this very, very pure, idyllic woman. And so we created this really simple silhouette for her made out of raw silk, and that's how Faust first sees her. The second time we see her, she's already been through things in life, and so she starts to take on color and complexity. There's different shades of gray, there are many, many different layers, and the dress actually moves really beautifully. When we see her for the third time, she's already disillusioned, lost her child, lost her mind, and she's in prison. And as you can see, the texture and complexity just keeps building. And I've inserted red fabrics in there so that it almost looks like wounds on her from afar. So on the bottom you can see that it's like she's been walking in ashes. One of the big themes of this production is nature is taking over the calculated mind. And so what I wanted to show through her costume, that the very pure and kind of geometric silhouette of the white dress is slowly disintegrating through the gray dress. And then at the end of the production, she would emerge out of this to reveal her pure self. So maybe we go to wigs now. You can see some of the incredible wigs here. These are for our maidens, and each wig had all these custom painted highlights in her hair, and each of them matches the color gradations of her dress. I mean, look how many different highlights and colors there are in each wig. Hi guys! So Sarah is styling Eileen Perez's wig at the moment. So this is Sarah Hutton, who's our hair and makeup designer. At the moment she is styling one of Marguerite's wigs. Her first look. And her second look is very different. So just like with the costumes, that she goes from very pure, beautiful, simple look to a much more textured and complicated look. And here we're creating wounds, actually. Hi. We're creating wounds for the soldiers who are returning from war. You'll see them in Act 4.